Hello there and welcome back to some more Gran Turismo 2 and welcome back to some more of the Project A-Spec mod. Today we're taking a look at the convertibles, soft tops and no tops of the Gran Turismo 2 Project A-Spec mod, and we'll start with the Plymouth Howler, which is a very interesting car indeed. And of course we're going to be racing these in the Convertible Car World Cup. The first race is at Tahiti Road, and fortunately the Howler has 237 horsepower, so it is eligible here. And we've even got the Renault Spider here to come ahead and add some more newness to this. So the Plymouth Howler, this is a car that was presented at SEMA to, I guess, make up for the Prowler and its slightly disappointing Prowlerness. This is a V8 Howler. That's right, it has a 4.7 litre V8 engine. It has this redesigned rear end, which is designed to give you more cargo capacity, and it has a folding hardtop roof, which means you can stay dry, or drier than you probably can in the standard convertible Prowler with its soft top, which we'll have a look at in a minute. Quite an interesting car this. I didn't even realise this was a real thing until, like I say, the Project A-Spec mod. This is one of the cars in there. I can't quite remember how you win this. I think it's one of the North American national events. The Renault Spider is one of the quickest cars in this event, by the looks of it. That's another really cool thing with this mod, is it has gone ahead and added some new opponents to these events. So for example, this Convertible Car Cup, you can now come across the Renault Sport Spider. In the World Touring Car Cup, or whatever it's called, the Super Touring Cup I think it is, you can encounter the Peugeot 805 Super Tourer, if you really want to. 806, sorry. Super Tourer, the big people carrier, which we had a look at last time out. You can see that in those events, which is really cool. Yeah, it's just cool to see them have this much attention to detail in terms of adding these new and interesting cars to these events, which otherwise, you know, sure, it's cool to play through the game with the new content, but it's also very cool to, in fact it's even cooler, to see the AI go ahead and use some of the new content against you. You know, it's still, even if, like, for example, you came to the Convertible World Car Cup, you're just starting out playing the game, and you've decided to show up here with a Mazda MX-5 that's in the base game, you know, there's still the competition here to drive something like the Renault Spider, and by the looks of it, absolutely destroy you with it, because the Spider is one of the best cars in this event, because we all do love the Renault Spider. What a mighty vehicle that is. I love the fact they've gone with the hardtop in this game as well, because I think that really adds to it. 666 behind, naturally. Yeah, we did manage to beat out all those other crummy convertibles that no one cares about. The only two that matter are the Howler and the Spider, although I will admit I'd probably go ahead and take the Spider if it was me. Alright, let's go ahead and take a look at another convertible. And what other convertible should we go ahead and take a look at? Let's go ahead and take a look at the normal Plymouth Prowler, because as you can see, statistically the Howler is actually worse, mainly because the Howler was just a show car, a proof of concept, if you will. The Prowler was the real deal, if you can of course call the Prowler the real deal. I just realised I managed to enter the completely wrong event. That's good. But yes, no, if you can call the Prowler the real deal, I don't know if you can, because, well, the Prowler, not a brilliant car, it has to be said. It does look interesting. However, as most of you who may recall in real life, this car was not all it was cracked up to be. What we have here is a very hot rod looking body with very non-hot rod properties. It is not some screaming V8 under the hood like with the Howler. It is a 3.5 litre V6, the same one you'd find in the Chrysler 300M, which isn't very good. What about the gearbox? Well, that 6-speed manual you're thinking it could have, or maybe some special automatic futuristic gearbox. Nope, just a basic 4-speed automatic. Yeah, this really does just have 4 gears. That's all you get with the Prowler. Yeah, safe to say, the disappointment when it comes to the Prowler is an understatement. And the worst bit is for sort of me and my generation, when you sort of see this car first time as a kid, you think, wow, that's a Hot Wheels model come to life. It's got 1,000,000 horsepower. And then you sort of realise later on it's actually only a 253 horsepower, 4-speed, automatic box of disappointments. And it's a true shame, because the people who've driven the Prowler actually say it's got a quite competent chassis underneath it all. Like, the steering of this vehicle's quite good. Of course, platform-wise, to only weigh 2,700 pounds, even though this has like a big family car V6 and obviously the 4-speed auto, which would add more weight than, say, a conventional manual gearbox. It's pretty light, really. I imagine there's thousands of different Prowler builds people have done in real life to get this thing to be a little bit more competent. I think manual swaps are a thing for Prowlers. And of course, you could be like me in my very, very early Forza 6 videos, where I ended up sticking a NASCAR engine in the Prowler, and it turned out to be pretty good. The reason I remember that video is it got shared on a Facebook group, I think, where it's something to do with modifying Prowlers, which was very strange. I think that was sort of the first out of YouTube experience I had with one of my videos, which was quite cool. Can we beat the Plymouth PT Spider? Not with driving like that, we can't. Yeah, the PT Spider is another one Plymouth sort of killed off around this time. I guess Plymouth was trying to reinvent itself as a sporty brand, and I mean, as you can see, that didn't really pan out. We are going to lose to the car, which I believe was made entirely out of plastic, the PT Spider. Yeah, that pretty much sums up the Prowler. We are we're pretty well into the horsepower limit of this race, and we got destroyed by the PT Spider. Admittedly, that final bit was a bit of a bad driving from my behalf, although I didn't see us winning that event anyways. So let's go ahead and drive something that has actually got some power to it. It's Indigo time, baby. Yeah, the Ford Indigo. This mad-looking IndyCar designed concept car that, of course, never, materialised or became anything. But it's here, we can drive it in the game. Let's do it, Ford Indigo. This is, one, to be fair, I haven't got, a big attachment to the Indigo. Mainly because I think this was in a Need for Speed game, and I never played any of the early Need for Speed games. There's quite a few people telling me about, in the comment section of the original Project A-Spec video, there's quite a lot of people telling me a lot of these cars look like they came from the early Need for Speed games. I don't know. The developers haven't... I think they're designing everything from scratch, so they could be inspired by Need for Speed, but it's definitely all scratch-built stuff. And yeah, I never played any of those early Need for Speed games, so I can't really comment on whether any of these cars are directly from that game or not. But either way, you get to drive this rather mental-looking contraption with its brake lights well up in the deck spoiler. This is powered by a V12 engine. I think this V12 would be very similar, if not the same one, that would later go on to start in the GT90 concept, which is, of course, a car I'm very familiar with and do rather like quite a lot. Unfortunately, GT90, nor the Indigo, although I think the Indigo is probably more understandable why this one never went into production. Yeah, the GT90 would also not go ahead and go into production, which is a big shame. This is a 1992 concept car, I believe. designed by the same guy who would go on to design the Ford Ka, in case you was wondering. I think Claude Lobo was the guy's name, Frenchman, and his idea was to design an anti-Twingo with the Ka, and of course the Ka would end up going ahead and contributing to the new Edge design, which would become the backbone to Ford's design for quite a number of years, actually. One of the more notorious years, I guess, the new Edge design, because while sometimes the design was controversial, looking back on it, the cars we got out of the new Edge era, stuff like the Ford Focus, the facelift to the Ford Mondeo, the new Edge SN95 Mustang, you know, all cars that now, looking back on, you'd look on very favourably, because they were just very ahead of their time, very unique design language. A lot better than unique design language these days, which is very much just make a car out of squares and slap a big grille from an old, like, heating unit on the front, looking at you, BMW. But, yeah, the back when design was actually interesting. The Ford Indigo, everybody. What a car. What a weird thing. And even in this event, the Renault Sport Spider just absolutely decimates the field. That is a very quick car indeed, that Renault Spider. Anyways, there we go. That is the convertibles of the Project A-Spec mod. I all thought you'd be interested in seeing the Indigo in action and a couple of Plymouths, so yeah, there we are. I don't know what the price car was for that. That's the Copperhead LM edition, don't care. It's not a new car in this. But yeah, anyways, that's it for this edition of the Project A-Spec mod. Do hope you've enjoyed. As always, you can find links down below to the credits for the Project A-Spec guys, the Discord. This mod is not yet released, so don't ask me for it. It's not in the description. Once this mod is available for download, I'll put it in the description, and once it is available to download, there'll be even more content than even I know about at the moment, because the guys are adding stuff to this every single day. So yeah, make sure to go and check all those guys out, because this mod is incredible, and thank you to the developers for giving me a early access build. So yeah, thank you all very much, and yeah, until next time, farewell.